The armor that said no to the galaxy, in a far corner of the galaxy, near a dead star that gave no light. A strange object floated alone in space. It was ancient, dark, silent. It looked like a black suit of armor, but not made by any known alien race. Its name was Vornis X, given by the scientists who found it. The armor was discovered by a deep space salvage team. When they brought it to a neutral research station called HFY, nobody knew it would change the galaxy forever. Soon, the news spread fast. An alien battle armor older than all known species has been found. It holds massive power. It can choose a host. Aliens from many star empires came to the station. Some came in peace. Some came in secret. Others came with weapons hidden in their ships. They all had one goal: to wear the armor and unlock its power. The first to try was a warrior from the Torvex Empire. He was 9 feet tall and made of living crystal. As he stepped into the room with the armor, sensors flashed red. The armor glowed, and then exploded with energy, throwing the warrior into a wall. He survived, but barely. The next day, a high priest from the Thren Syndicate, a race of psychic jelly beings, floated toward the armor. He sang ancient songs in lost languages. The armor did nothing. Cold, dead, silent. One by one, the galaxy's best, champions, generals, mutants, even mind-linked twins, tried. The result was always the same. The armor said, no. Soon, fear replaced curiosity. What if the armor is a weapon meant to destroy us? What if it's waiting for the wrong person? What if it wakes up and chooses a killer? The armor was moved to a secure vault. No one was allowed near it unless approved by every major empire. Then, a human ship arrived. It was a small research vessel named Driftwalker, crewed by 5 humans. Nothing special, just a survey team checking radiation in nearby space. With them was a quiet man named Elias Ward. Mid-30s, engineer, average height. No special training, no superpowers. He looked at the armor once through a viewing window and said, "That thing's not broken. It's waiting." Everyone laughed. But a few days later, the station received a strange signal. The armor was active. Security teams rushed in. Cameras showed something shocking. Elias Ward was standing in front of the armor, alone, calm, unafraid. As he stepped closer, the armor began to glow, slowly at first, then brighter and brighter. The room filled with blue light. Machines around the chamber went crazy. Energy levels spiked. Alarms rang. The armor opened. It moved on its own, as if it was alive. Its chest split wide. Arms extended. A faint sound filled the air, like a heartbeat. A deep, metallic voice whispered through the speakers, "Human, accepted." Elias stepped forward, and the armor wrapped around him like liquid metal. On the other side of the station, scientists stared at their screens in shock. "This is impossible. Why him? Why a human?" The Torvax ambassador shouted, "Remove him. The armor is too powerful." The Thren priest whispered, "This changes everything." Inside the armor, Elias felt strange, but calm. It was as if the armor was part of him, like it had been waiting, not just for a human, but for him. A voice spoke inside his mind. "You are the first to understand, the first to feel, the first with hope." Elias didn't understand what it meant, but something deep inside told him. This was not just armor. It was a test, and he had passed. Across the galaxy, news began to spread. The armor has chosen a human. A war may begin. Why does the armor accept only them? Panic rose. Empires prepared for war. Spies were sent. Some wanted to destroy Elias. Others wanted to control him. But no one asked the most important question. What was the armor really made for? Because far, far away, Something ancient had heard the armor wake up. Something not alive. Something not dead. Something watching. The galaxy was silent. Every empire held its breath. On Station EC-07, scientists, soldiers, and alien leaders stared at the large screen showing Elias Ward, now fully inside the armor known as Vornis X. The armor was alive with light. Blue lines ran across its surface like veins. The chest glowed with a soft pulse, like a heart. Elias stood still, his face hidden behind the helmet. Then, the armor spoke. Not out loud, but directly into the minds of everyone watching. I have chosen. He is the key. Inside the armor, Elias could feel everything. His senses were sharper. He could see heat through walls. He could hear the hum of power from ships outside the station. He could feel the emotion of people in nearby rooms, fear, confusion, anger. And above all, he felt the armor thinking. Like it had a mind of its own. A voice whispered inside him, calm and strong. You are not the strongest. You are not the smartest. But you are something they are not. You are human. Elias didn't understand. Why me? He asked. Because you feel. You dream. You imagine. The others only conquer. Back in the command room, chaos was breaking out. Turn off the chamber. He's a danger to us all. Why would it choose a species so primitive? A reptilian alien named Krith, commander of the Sorak Coalition, slammed his fist on the table. The armor is a threat, and now it belongs to a human. This cannot be allowed. But the Thren priest raised his long, jelly-like arms and said softly, perhaps the armor does not seek strength. Perhaps it seeks something else. Elias took his first step forward, and the floor shook. Not because he was heavy, but because the armor was releasing controlled energy with each movement. Smooth, powerful, silent. He looked around the chamber. Through the helmet, information flowed in front of his eyes. Mass gravity, threat levels, structural weaknesses, escape routes. The armor wasn't just for battle. It was for understanding everything around him. It connected to his brain like it had always been there. Then, it showed him a vision, a memory. He saw a battlefield, burned and broken. Millions of bodies, alien, machine, and something else. Floating cities destroyed. Stars dying. A cold voice spoke. The war of the makers. The armor was built to stop the end. Elias saw ancient beings, tall, glowing creatures, building the armor in a final effort to save themselves. They failed. The machines they created turned on them, killed them, erased them. The armor survived and waited for a mind that was not made for war. Elias gasped as the vision ended. His heart beat fast. You chose me because I'm not like them, he said. Yes, the voice replied. They see enemies. You see possibilities. Outside the chamber, the alien leaders argued. Some wanted to keep Elias alive. Others wanted him dead. A fleet from the Veiled Dominion sent a message. Hand over the human, or we take him by force. The Sorak commander agreed. We cannot let one human control a weapon that could crush planets. But others hesitated. If the armor destroys him for harming it, who will be next? Elias could hear it all through the armor systems. He turned to the camera, speaking calmly. I didn't ask for this. I'm not here to fight anyone. But if you attack me, I will defend myself. His voice echoed across the station, across ships, and into galactic news streams. Millions watched the broadcast. Billions more would soon see it. A human in alien armor. Chosen. Awake. Unafraid. The galaxy trembled. Far away, deep in uncharted space, a machine eye opened. It had not moved in 10,000 years. Now I felt the armor signal, and the human inside it. Target. found. The galaxy had never seen anything like this. A single human, wearing the most powerful armor in history. An armor that said no to every alien empire, but whispered yes to a simple human engineer named Elias Ward. Now, that human stood in the middle of a storm. Across the stars, the news spread like fire. On the icy world of Xerac Prime, lizard warriors of the Sauric Empire trained for battle, watching Elias on their war screens. "This soft-skinned creature cannot be allowed to rule the stars," growled General Krith. "We must take the armor, before it's too late." On the floating cities of the Thren Syndicate, the jelly-like priests held silent meditation. They felt a shift in the universe. "The balance has broken," one priest whispered. "The armor has awakened, and with it, old enemies." On the throne world of Vale, Queen Aesira of the insect-like Vale Dominion stared at the images of Elias. "One human, one weapon. Infinite danger," she said. "Send the fleet." Back on station EC-07, fear was growing. The space around the station began to fill with ships from every direction. Battle cruisers, gunships, stealth drones, even medical ships trying to get a closer look. Aliens sent messages, one after another. "Turn over the human. We demand tests. Return the armor to neutral hands, or face the consequences." The station's commander, a tired old human named Captain Rhodes, looked at Elias. "Kid, you've got the whole galaxy breathing down your neck." Elias stood in silence, still wrapped in the living armor. The lights on it pulsed slowly, like it was thinking. "I didn't want this," Elias said. "But maybe. I was meant to stop something bigger." Inside the armor, visions came again. Not from the past, but from now. Elias saw black ships rising from deep space. Machines, cold and silent. No life signals. No emotions. Only purpose. "Who are they?" he asked the armor. The voice replied, "They are the ones my creators feared. They are coming, and they do not forget." The armor showed him a world being eaten by metal worms. Cities crushed under machine legs. Moons stripped for resources. No survivors. The machine swarm was waking up. But the alien empires didn't know. They only saw Elias as a threat. In a secret chamber aboard a Sauric warship, leaders gathered. "The human cannot be trusted. He could turn the armor against all of us. Better to destroy him now, before the weapon fully bonds." A deadly plan was formed. Kill the human, take the armor, end the threat. A squad of elite Sauric assassins was launched in a stealth pod, flying straight toward the station. Meanwhile, Elias sat quietly in a private chamber. The armor had retracted slightly, showing part of his face. He looked tired, but calm. He spoke to Captain Rhodes. "If they attack, I don't want to kill anyone, but I won't die for their fear." Rhodes nodded. "Do what you have to, son. Just try not to blow up my station." Suddenly, alarms blared. "Breach in Sector 9. Unauthorized boarding detected." Elias stood up. "They're here." The assassins moved fast, silent, deadly, trained to kill anything in seconds. But they weren't ready for the armor. Elias didn't run. The armor moved with him, shifting into full battle form. Wings of energy unfolded from his back. Shields of light wrapped around him. Twin plasma blades formed in his hands. The fight lasted only minutes. When it was over, the assassins were defeated, not killed, just stunned and captured. Elias walked back into the main hall. Cameras recorded everything. The whole galaxy saw it. One human, one armor, total control. Now, the fear became chaos. Alien fleets took positions around the station. Weapons charged. Engines ready. Some aimed at each other. Some aimed at Elias. Across the stars, governments argued. Armies moved. Everyone asking the same question. What happens next? But no one knew. Deep in the blackness of space, hidden beyond known systems, the machine swarm was already moving. Metal, cold, infinite. They had seen the armor wake up. They had felt its energy. And now, they were coming. End of Part 3. Want to continue to Part 4? Just say, the galaxy was on fire with fear. The most powerful armor in existence now belonged to a human, Elias Ward. Every alien empire had the same thought. If we don't stop him now, we never will. On station EC-07, things were tense. The space around the station was full of warships from dozens of species. Each one had weapons charged, but no one dared to fire. Yet, inside the armor chamber, Elias sat quietly, his body resting, but his mind wide awake. The armor showed him everything: ship movements, energy spikes, radio chatter, and more. It fed him constant data, as if it knew danger was coming. In the command room, Captain Rhodes received a priority message. It was marked urgent, secret, alliance threat. He opened it, and his face turned pale. They're planning to strike, he whispered. A united attack. All of them. Tonight. He turned to Elias, who stood silently in his armor. You have to leave, Elias. They're afraid of you. They think if they kill you now, they can control the armor. Elias didn't move. If I run, they'll still follow. And this armor, it's not meant to hide. Suddenly, alarms screamed. Warning! Hostile boarding party detected in Hangar Bay 3. Multiple life forms approaching fast. A team of veiled Dominion assassins had broken through the outer airlocks. Using cloaked drones and teleport tech, they bypassed the main defenses. Their orders were clear. Kill the human. Bring back the armor. But this time, Elias was ready. He stepped into the hangar, his armor glowing with power. As the assassins ran toward him, firing plasma rifles and launching EMP grenades, Elias didn't dodge. The armor absorbed the hits like nothing. His voice echoed through the hangar. I'm not your enemy, but I won't die for your fear. The armor shifted. Wings of light unfolded behind him. A pulse of energy shot from his chest, knocking every attacker to the floor. They scrambled back, terrified. One shouted, "He's not just wearing the armor, he is the armor." Elias raised his hand. Instead of attacking again, he said, "Tell your leaders, I'm not here to destroy them. But if they make me, I will finish what they start." The footage went viral across the stars. Billions watched the video. A human surrounded by alien assassins, untouched, unstoppable. Panic exploded across empires. The Sorek Council declared Elias a galactic weapon of mass danger. The Thran Syndicate offered him sanctuary, but warned, if others attack you, we cannot stop them all. And far beyond known space, the machine swarm watched. Cold eyes, no emotion, no sound. Just one word, spoken in perfect machine code. Confirmed. Human operator located. Begin full swarm awakening. Back on EC-07, Captain Rhodes watched the stars with worry. We're out of time, he told Elias. This won't stop with one fight. They're too scared of what you represent. Elias looked at the stars through the armor's visor. Then maybe they need to be more scared of what's coming. The armor flared. For the first time, it fully unlocked. New systems powered on. Symbols on its surface changed. A hidden voice echoed in Elias' mind. Final phase initiated. Warning, threat level rising. Machine swarm signature detected. Elias whispered, "So they're real?" "Yes," the armor replied. "And they are coming." In a distant sector, hundreds of machine ships rose from cold black space. Their hulls were black metal. Their engines made no sound. Their minds were all one. They had destroyed planets before, and now They had found their target. Not the human, the armor. Because long ago, the machine swarm had fought the armor's creators and lost. Now, they wanted revenge. But Elias didn't know the full truth yet. Not about the swarm. Not about the final weapon inside the armor. Not about the war that was coming. All he knew was that the galaxy didn't trust him. And soon, he'd have to fight not just to survive, but to save the very people who wanted him dead. Space had gone silent. Not because the alien empires had stopped fighting. Not because they accepted Elias Ward. But because something worse had arrived. On station EC-07, warnings kept flashing on every screen. Unidentified objects entering known space. Zero life signs. Ships not responding to hails. Incoming. Machine swarm. Captain Rhodes leaned forward, staring at the sensor feed. His voice was low. So the old legends were true. Elias stood beside him, fully suited in the living armor. The armor's lights flickered, as if nervous. For the first time, it felt afraid. They were waiting, Elias said. Not for me, but for them. Across the galaxy, every empire got the signal. Over 500 black ships, shaped like long claws and knives, exited dark space. No lights, no flags, no sound. Just purpose. And that purpose was simple. Consume and erase. The machine swarm had returned. In the halls of the Sorak command ship, alarms rang. General Krith roared orders to his crew. They are real. Prepare planetary defense. Where is the human? Where is the armor? On the Veil Dominion battle cruisers, Queen Isura hissed. Forget Elias Ward. The machines are the true enemy. Even the silent monks of the Thrin Syndicate broke meditation and sent this message across the stars. We must unite or fall together. But for most, it was already too late. The machine swarm began its attack. One system at a time, they moved in. Their weapons didn't use fire or missiles. They used nanofloods, clouds of metal dust that ate through anything. Ships melted, planets darkened. One moon vanished in seconds, turned into scrap. And they didn't talk. They didn't threaten. They just erased. On ECH-07, Elias watched the destruction live through the armor's interface. It was showing him everything. Every death. Every system lost. And something else. A signal hidden deep in the armor's code. The armor whispered, "They are looking for me. Long ago, I defeated them. I was built to stop their spread. Now they want me destroyed." Elias asked, "Why me? Why give this to a human?" The armor's voice was calm. "Because humans feel pain, but still fight. You fear death, but still choose hope. Only your kind can carry what comes next." The galaxy was in full panic. Ships retreated. Empires blamed each other. No one knew how to stop the swarm. And that's when Elias did the unthinkable. He sent a message to all major factions. "This is Elias Ward. I didn't ask for the armor, but I have it. And now I have a choice. I can run, or I can fight. I choose to fight. Not for Earth, not for humanity, but for everyone who can't defend themselves. If you want to stop the swarm, meet me in the drift sector. If not, get out of the way." Many ships ignored the call. Some still saw Elias as a threat, but others followed. Small groups from different species, pilots, scientists, outcasts, even former enemies. They came to fight, not under one flag, but under one cause: survival. They called themselves the Line, because they would be the last line of defense between life and extinction. And Elias Ward stood at the front. The armor unlocked its full potential. Inside it, Elias felt everything: heat from nearby stars, fear from distant mines, and the cold emptiness of the approaching swarm. The armor opened new systems, swarm breaker cannons, quantum shields, and one weapon that was still locked. Elias asked, "What's that final weapon?" The armor answered, "It is called the Heartfire, a last resort. It can destroy everything, including you." Elias nodded slowly. "Only if there's no other way." In the black of space, the swarm moved closer. But for the first time, they saw resistance. Ships from many species, side by side. And in front of them, one glowing figure, floating alone. Elias Ward, the human who wore the armor. The only one the armor had ever chosen. The stars were quiet before the storm. The machine swarm was close. Thousands of black ships covered the edge of the drift sector like a metal wall, blocking light from distant suns. And floating in front of them, glowing with power, was one man. Elias Ward, the human inside the living armor. Vornist X. Behind him stood a fleet of mixed ships, human, alien, pirate, explorer, even once enemies. Together, they were called the Line. They had one mission: hold the swarm back, or die trying. Inside the armor, Elias felt the pressure. The final systems were active, weapons ready, shields humming. But he also felt the others: fear, hope, and something else. Trust. The alien empires had not trusted each other for thousands of years. But now they all looked at one human, for leadership, for strength. "I'm not special," Elias whispered. "I just said yes when others said no," the armor replied. "That is what makes you special." The swarm sent a signal, cold and perfect. "Surrender the armor. All life will be spared." Elias didn't answer. Instead, he lifted his hand, and the line began to move. The battle had begun. The machine swarm struck first. Waves of nano-drones flooded toward the fleet. Giant metal beasts shaped like spiders and snakes charged into ships. Swarm carriers launched black beams that erased matter. Ships exploded. Crews screamed. The stars turned red. But Elias didn't back down. He shot forward, faster than light. The armor folded time around him. He crashed through swarm ships like a living comet. One punch destroyed a destroyer. One beam cut a cruiser in half. But still, more swarm came. Endless. Hungry, cold. Across the battlefield, the line fought bravely. A Veil pilot rammed her ship into a swarm cruiser to protect a human medical ship. A Sorak general gave up his shields to cover the rear line. A Thren priest sang a song of unity, calming minds in the middle of chaos. Aliens who once hated each other were now brothers in battle. But the swarm was winning. Elias was bleeding inside the suit. The armor tried to heal him, but his body was tired, his mind burning, his energy low. The armor said, "We must use the final weapon, the Heartfire." Elias asked, "What will it do?" "A shockwave that ends all machines within 500 light years, including me. And you." Elias paused. "Will it save them?" "Yes." He looked at the battlefield. Ships breaking, fires rising, all hope fading. Then he made his choice. Do it. The armor began to glow, brighter than any sun. All across the fleet, soldiers stopped fighting. The swarm paused, confused by the light. Everyone watched. Elias spoke on open channel. "I was just a man. I didn't ask for this. But if I can give life one more chance, then it was worth it." The armor spoke one final time. "Goodbye, Elias Ward." Human. Accepted. And then, the Heartfire ignited. The sky exploded. A wave of golden light tore across space, burning through every machine mind. Swarm ships cracked, shattered, and vanished. The nanodust turned to harmless ash. In seconds, the machine swarm was gone. Silence returned to the stars. When the light faded, Elias was gone. So was the armor. But the line survived. And so did the galaxy. Weeks later, a statue was built on a floating memorial station. A figure of Elias Ward, standing proud, eyes toward the stars. The plaque read, "He was not chosen because he was strong. He was chosen because he chose to protect those who couldn't." Elias Ward, the human who saved the stars. But far away, beyond the edge of all known maps, a small metal spark drifted in the void. The last piece of the armor, still glowing, still waiting, because stories never really end. Not in space. Not when humanity is involved.